I was literally saying, I'm sorry that it took so long to give you $10,000. Do you have any bruise? Anything? Have I ever touched you in a bad way? Ever? Have I asked you every time if I could touch you? Sweetheart, look at me. You cannot talk to me that way because I'm more respectful than anyone you've ever met.
Yes, Hunter Biden speaking to his Russian prostitute, explaining to her forcefully that he's more respectful than anyone she's ever met. And he barely left a bruise on her, and he paid her lots of money with his ill-gotten gains earned, I'm making quotation marks with my fingers, by way of his no-show jobs, coming from countries he's never visited and industries in which he has never worked. Well, good Tuesday morning to you and welcome. The cover-up is now parading down the street. The Biden family corruption is out here in the plain light of day for everyone to see. And the news media, they're really, the Democrat Party's number one ally is the American news media. And the American news media is the most corrupt institution in the United States of America. We have all kinds of news for you this Tuesday because we just learned not so long ago. I think we were breaking the news. I hadn't heard it anywhere moments after it popped. And it went to the Washington Post and CNN by way of multiple anonymous sources inside the Biden administration, the Justice Department of Merrick Garland, who's a crook, and the FBI run by Christopher Wray, who's a crook. And it's being swept under the rug, and they're giving it the patina, the appearance of law and order, of justice, when in fact it's the opposite. And this is the beginning of a process which will eventually exonerate the Biden family and Joseph Robinette Biden for their many crimes around the world and their ill-gotten gains by the millions and millions of dollars. But pay no attention to that. And I'd also like to point out I was texting with my friend Sebastian Gorka today. Gorka! And we were just going back and forth as we do. And Audie Murphy, today, Audie Murphy, the greatest, the most decorated war hero of World War II. Talk about your greatest generation. An absolutely unbelievable story to hell and back. He wrote a book. It was made into a movie starring him, Audie Murphy. Audie Murphy's birthday today. And amazingly, he still wouldn't be 100 years old. He'd only be 98 years old. Born in 1925 on this day, Audie Murphy. And I am saluting Audie Murphy. A smart salute for Audie Murphy. Just an amazing guy. I know right. He's buried in Arlington National Cemetery. I know right where his grave is, his tombstone is. I can walk you to it. It's part of my tour. I give tours of Arlington Cemetery and of Washington, D.C., and I can walk you right to Audie Murphy's grave. The lettering is gold because when you're a Medal of Honor recipient, the letters on your tombstone are in gold. That's true at the cemeteries, the military cemeteries in Normandy in France as well, and elsewhere around the world, but and at Arlington. So Audie Murphy, got to take a moment, talk about your greatest generation. He was really something, just amazing. He lied about his age to get into, he was too young to get into the military, so he lied, and he got in there, and just amazing. I mean, he was 20 years old when the war ended, and he was the most in 1945, and which is just amazing. And he was the most decorated soldier, American soldier from World War II, at the age of 20 when the war ended. He became angry with the Germans. He didn't like what they were doing, and he explained it to Alan Beck that it was mostly rage that drove him, but he was an extraordinary figure. Then he became a movie star. Because after the war, nice-looking guy, most decorated soldier. The French pinned medals on him. Everybody, he was absolutely amazing. I think he captured more than 100 Germans one day by himself. All at once, not like one at a time. But he had them so afraid that they all threw down their German rifles and they gave up their Germanness. It was, yeah, he was very angry. He said he became angry because they killed his friends. He said they were killing my friends. So he wiped them out in huge numbers and captured them in huge numbers. And when the war ended, he was 20 years old. What were you doing when you were 20 years old, Michael?
I was on the roof.
I was on the roof. Yeah. All right. So I want to homage to the greatest generation and to Audie Murphy on today's birthday. He would be 98 years old. And there are, there are other older than him, World War II veterans. Just at the Normandy, the 6th of June, the anniversary was very recent, of course, just a couple of weeks ago. And there were Normandy soldiers at the anniversary in France. All right, now let's get back to Hunter Biden, who's no hero. When he was 20, he wasn't doing nothing. I think he might have been on the board of Amtrak, though, with another no-show job that his crooked father got him. Pretty amazing stuff. Now let's get back to this, because Hunter Biden, this is a big story. Now let me share with you, because this is important. The fake Washington Post, they've got this crooked story, and they're not honest people over there, and they wrote a story I was sharing, where they said, oh yeah, the U.S. attorney the U.S. attorney in Delaware was a Trump holdover. That's what they call him, right? They call him a Trump holder. And the Washington Post said that today in their awful, terrible, fake story, because they lie all the time about everything. Now, and you're going to hear a lot of this from the corrupt, fake news media in the next 24 hours and probably beyond. Let me share with you the truth about and it doesn't make him a bad person. I'm not saying he's a villain. It's just the news media. They're the villains of this particular story, and they lie all the time. Let me share with you a real news story written by a real news reporter, Jerry Dunleavy, the Justice Department reporter at the Washington Examiner. This is from June. They've updated it. They have updated it. This is interesting, because it was written in October of 2022. October 9th of 2022. And I read it, and I remembered it, but nobody at the Washington Post read it. And if they did read it, they erased it from their fake memories, because they're corrupt. They're morally, ethically, and journalistically corrupt. And I'm not. The headline by Jerry Dunleavy, October 9th, 2022. That's last year for Democrats following along. David Weiss, the U.S. attorney who holds Hunter Biden's fate in his hands. Jerry Dunleavy wrote, David Weiss, little-known U.S. attorney for Delaware, will soon step into the spotlight as the Justice Department's prosecutor, with the power to file potential criminal charges against President Joe Biden's troubled son, Hunter. Now, the multiple outlets reported Thursday that the FBI believes it has collected enough evidence to charge Hunter Biden with crimes related to tax fraud and lying about his drug use when he purchased a firearm. This, again, is from October of last year, the Jerry Dunleavy story in the Enquirer, the Washington Examiner, rather. And the decision of whether to charge the president's son with those or other crimes rests with Weiss. Now, let me get to why the media is lying to you and how they're lying to you here, because they lie all the time. Weiss had previously served twice as first assistant U.S. attorney from 2007 to 2009, a career Justice Department guy, and then from 2012 to 2018. Well, wait a minute. You see, Barack Obama became president of the United States in January of 2009, right? So there it is. And then he also had been acting and interim U.S. attorney under Obama from 2009 until 2011. So wait a minute. So he's a holdover from Obama. Is that what's going on here? Because Obama made him the acting and Obama made him the interim, and Obama never chose Republicans for U.S. attorney positions or for Justice Department positions or for any damn thing in the world because he's a radical extremist leftist who hates America and he's a racist. Now, just saying that. Now, let me continue with the story by Jerry Dunleavy from last year. Delaware, when the position was open under President Trump. This is kind of an interesting detail, very important detail. Delaware Senators Tom Carper and Chris Coons, both Democrats, had urged President Trump to accept their proposed nomination of David Weiss for the role of U.S. Attorney in Delaware and praised his selection. They wrote, David Weiss is an excellent choice for U.S. Attorney for the District of Delaware. This is Democrat Senator Tom Carper, who's a lefty. We'll just get to that. During his combined 16 years in the U.S. Attorney's Office, he has prosecuted corruption, money laundering, drug offenses. This is perfect for the Biden family. Mail and wire fraud, and he spearheaded the successful effort to establish New Castle County as the high-intensity drug trafficking area. So that's it. And Coons, Senator Coons, he's the guy that beat the witch. Remember, they demonized the Republican woman running for the Senate seat. They said she was a witch, and the news media carried that message forward, and she lost to this guy because they said she was a witch, all right? And then they burned her at the stake, at least politically. Coons declared, David is a career prosecutor and dedicated public servant, longtime Delawarean. He's a Delawarean, and valued member of our law enforcement community. I want to thank the White House for working with Senator Carper and me to present an excellent nominee for U.S. Attorney. Now, so he's an Obama guy. Obama picked him to be acting and interim. And then these two Democrat senators pushed real hard for President Trump to take him, and President Trump did. And now the news media will shorthand all of this by just saying to you, he's a holdover from the Trump administration. Because there are 10,000 ways to lie in the naked city, and this is just one of them. So let's go back to the CNN reporterette who somehow was in Delaware, apparently before the sun came up this morning, well, apparently with advanced knowledge of what was going to happen before it was leaked anonymously to the Washington Post and anonymously to CNN. Isn't it great to be a Democrat? And so that CNN, and they could get their fingerprints on it. The leakers from the Justice Department, they go to the Friendly Post and to Friendly CNN. They pre-position the CNN reporter. That will set the tone for the rest of the news media to follow like the lemming that they are. Here is Cara Scannell.
Now, this is a plea deal that he has reached with the U.S. Attorney's office here. That U.S. Attorney, David Weiss, was a Trump appointee and someone that Joe Biden, the president, did not replace. And one of the reasons why he didn't replace him was because of this investigation. They wanted to avoid any appearance of political interference. I know we are seeing more court filings will be hitting the docket, so we should learn a little bit more information about this. But this certainly does resolve a long-running investigation. And
now, you know the rest of the story, and the news media is giving you half-truths and half-stories, and she may be too ignorant, too ill-informed. She may not follow the news. Most of them don't. I do. You get the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth from me, whereas the Washington Post and CNN omit certain inconvenient truths, as the Reverend Al Gore would say, and that's because they're spinning it. They're lying. They're lies of omission and lies of commission. And the most insidious power the media has is the power to ignore. And when they ignore and give you half-truths like this, they should be called on it. There's much more on the Hunter Biden cover-up, and this is honestly that he's going to skate, he's going to walk. A fine will be paid with other people's money. And I have details on what we're expecting because it's all been leaked, so that the media can spin it, the public can approve of it, and then they can all get back to their Russian hookers and tax evasion. I've got breaking news for all my fellow Americans. Joe Biden's dangerous plan to force Americans into a digital dollar goes live in a matter of weeks. No matter what they're telling you, you know better. It's not something that will help you or your family or in your future plans. You need to take action today or it might be too late. The Federal Reserve will be deployed in phases under Joe Biden, with the initial launch taking place July 1st of 2023. That's coming up fast, days away, not even weeks. It's called Fed Now. And many Americans are going to be completely surprised by this, taken off guard. Everything you've ever worked for is at stake, but pay no attention. There is a way for us to legally opt out of the digital dollar before it's too late. Start by calling my friends at American Alternative Assets to get your free wealth protection guide. This guide will educate you on how you can protect yourself from the failing dollar and volatile market with gold and silver IRAs. Call 888, the number 4, Gold 20. Call them today, 888-446-5360. Don't let Biden force you to take the government's new digital dollar. Call 888, the number 4, Gold 20, 888-446-5360. Individual results may vary. There's no guarantee that past performance will be indicative of future results. Seek your own tax, legal, investment, and financial advice before opening an account. Yeah, I got to tell you, they're going to spin this. Oh, see, this is justice. This is exactly what you've been calling for. And then they're going to add, you're being mean to a poor guy who's addicted to drugs. And so many families out there have people addicted to drugs. Yeah, but, they don't have the Russian hookers and the 1.2 million in tax debt and lie on the government forms and violate the Foreign Agents Act and all of that. I've got more coming right up. Hey, Chris here with some exciting news. Now you can listen to me live on the WMAL app. Doesn't matter if you're in your car, in the office, on the go. The WMAL app delivers crystal clear around-the-clock news coverage anywhere with cell service or Wi-Fi. So don't miss a second of your favorite shows. Download the WMAL app today on the Apple App Store or at Google Play Store. Also, I've got to say, I don't have a lot of time. Let's hold off for a minute. I want to go to the phones in just a second. It is Election Day in Virginia, and I want to talk about that because it's very, very important. These commie state attorneys and so on are on the ballot today. So I want to get to that in a minute, too. And the mini sub that went down to look at the Titanic didn't turn out very well. I went down in a mini sub in January in Antarctica to the floor of the Antarctic Ocean. I want to share that with you. And I hope to get back to the Glomar Explorer today and more. Now I want to share a number of things with you that I have in front of me right here in my hands. I picked them up right here, so they're right here in my hands, and paper and my iPad and my 2 computer screens, and I'm collecting all of the BS that's being peddled by the left-wing propaganda mob on the Hunter Biden story. And then I do want to get to the mini sub and the Titanic and to President Trump's interview that he did. It aired last night, the first half of it with Brett Baer interview at Bedminster, the club in Bedminster, New Jersey. I want to get to that too. But I want to go to the phones right now, Michael, but let me share with you what President Trump tweeted on June 6th, the 6th of June, D-Day, 2023, just, a couple of weeks ago now. And the president tweeted, "It's all about election interference," he said. And at the bottom of his, it was on Truth. Did I say he tweeted? It's on Truth, his own social media platform. He said, predicting the future, as he so often does so well, quite honestly, He said, they'll hit Hunter with something small to make their strike on me look, quote, fair, end quote. Nothing about these fascists is fair or honest. Fight, in all caps, with an exclamation mark. But what he said is, and I started my coverage of this with, this is what the most cynical among us, including myself, had predicted. They'll hit Hunter with something small to make their strike on me look fair. Nothing about these fascists is fair or honest. So that's President Trump on June 6th. And here we are. Here we are. Now let me go to, because there's, there are other things going on. Let me go to Phil calling from Fredericksburg, Virginia. Phil, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Oh, Mr. Plant, you can call me Votey McVoterface because today I voted for freedom. I voted for the rule of law, but especially I voted to save Johnny's cojones and Joni's young breasts because I don't believe children should be taught to hate their bodies. I don't think they should be taught to hate America. And I certainly don't think that anybody who's under 18 years of age should be allowed to take hormones that destroy their bodies. So, yeah, I went and voted today, and I want to thank my dad for being a veteran. I want to thank my friend who went to Vietnam and came home so messed up that he passed away from drug abuse for fighting that fight. And I want to tell everybody, all you got to do to really, really appreciate a veteran is get off your ass and go out there to the polls today and vote for freedom.
And in Virginia, where Virginia has off-year elections, idiots in the media like to call midterm elections off-year elections. Those are not off-year elections. Those are midterm elections. This is an off-year election, which Virginia likes to do. And there are lots and lots of important things on the ballot today, aren't there, Phil?
Yes.
We're talking about these radical prosecutors that are pro-crime. We're talking about radical Democrats that are pro-keeping. And there's another story today about teachers plotting to change the genders of children while keeping it a secret from parents, which Democrats appear to be in favor of today. Isn't that right, Phil?
It's crazy. I don't understand how they can do this. This is not teaching children anything. This is sterilizing kids. That's ruining their futures. We cannot let that happen.
And we have, even in Virginia, George Soros prosecutors who are anti-police and pro-criminal, right?
Yeah.
And there are these primary elections, and they and some of them I know. What was I watching this morning? I was watching some left-wing media because it's my job, and they were all had their panties in a wedge because they said there are some Republicans in Virginia that are recommending that Republican voters, because they're open elections, you can go vote in the Democrat primaries today in Virginia, and there are Republicans that are advising that that you go vote for the least crazy Democrat, or you go vote for the Democrat that is going to that will be more likely to lose. Now, Democrats do this all the time in Republican elections, monkey wrenching the elections. They've been doing it for generations, for decades and decades, and there are a lot of important matters and a lot of important elections, people on the ballot in Virginia today. And if you are an eligible voter in Virginia, see, I'm not a Democrat because they just tell anybody, even if you're an illegal alien in prison, to vote today, right? Because they don't care. They just want to destroy the world, right?
It's just crazy.
Who died 6 months ago because hey, get out and vote. They say in Chicago, vote early, vote often. And then they do, and the dead vote too. Yeah, so the primary elections, and there are a lot of even the Washington Post hotly contested elections going on in Virginia, and I know that you're a Virginia voter in your county and so on. You're up to speed, but I do want to remind everybody to get out and vote because our great constitutional republic depends on us getting out. And the left, they organize, they get the dead and the unions and the illegal aliens, and they get all kinds of people to vote that shouldn't be voting. because they don't care about the law. They care about power and about winning. And they've somehow brainwashed millions of zombies into following this madness, goose-stepping along with them. Pretty amazing stuff. But, Phil, you got out and you voted, and our country must be saved.
I'm actually drinking my chock full of nuts coffee on my front porch because drinking Democrats' dreams of destroying America makes me very happy.
That's very good. Phil, God bless you. Thank you for the call. I'm glad I saw you on the board, and it's something I definitely want to get to today. So you helped me do that, and I thank you. Get out and vote. Save America. You know, the left has been plotting, scheming, conspiring, colluding for ages now. Think globally, act locally. And they've been destroying your county environmental board, your county school board, putting radicals in with George Soros, the evil George Soros, and now his evil son is taking over, who's even apparently more radical than his old man. And they're not here to make America better. They're here to destroy. They are the left. They're not liberals. They're the left, and the left destroys. So stop them. Stop them when you can. Speaking of the Biden administration, let me get back to that for a moment here, because there are all kinds of. And here's the again the Washington Post, and we have Mo Yarborough too, don't we? The Washington Post with their corrupt story written by the corrupt Devlin Barrett and the corrupt Perry Stein, who spin for the Democrats, and they get their multiple anonymous sources from the Biden administration and the Merrick Garland Biden Justice Department and the Christopher Wray FBI, multiple anonymous sources who spoke on the condition of anonymity because they're violating the law by doing it. Hunter Biden reaches plea deal to plead guilty. The president's son would get about 2 years probation. That means nothing. He's a rich guy. He can go to France for his probationary period and enter a diversion program. He needs to be diverted, you know. People familiar with the negotiation said they've got people that are familiar with the negotiation. And they say the terms of the proposed deal negotiated with Delaware U.S. Attorney David Weiss, a holdover from the Donald Trump administration, are likely to face scrutiny. Now, again, I read to you the real story from the Washington Examiner and Jerry Dunleavy that David Weiss was initially put in that position by Obama and then was recommended for the position by 2 Democrat senators from Delaware to President Trump, who doesn't have a warehouse full of activists waiting to take these jobs. So he said, well, okay, these guys, he's already in, whatever, so we'll let him stay. But he's, he was put there by Obama. And they lie about everything. Lies of omission, lies of commission. And the New York Times had the same thing, a holdover from the Trump administration. And CNN, I played the CNN reporter who somehow magically was already in Delaware this morning before the story even broke, which is fascinating, kind of like the Roger Stone setup with the CNN being outside for the pre-dawn FBI terrorist raid by the fascistas. And amazing stuff. So here is Joe Scarborough, who is known as Morning Joke. He's Morning Joke. And this morning on his joke program, I guess he had to stay a little longer because he's not normally there at all, really. And here's Morning Joke with the same Democrat Party storyline.
They have senior members of the Senate saying, we don't care whether he's guilty or not. We don't care whether he did this stuff or not. It's all been a show.
Pause that. Well, nobody said that. No, there's no senior member of the Senate that said we don't care if he's guilty or not. He's a liar. Joe Scarborough is a liar, and he's lying right there. And what he just said is a lie. There are no senior members of the Senate saying I don't care if he's guilty or not. He's a fascist, filthy liar with his semi-inflatable flotation device of a third wife sitting next to him, who's the spawn of that horribly, terribly failed Jimmy Carter era national security advisor who gave us the Iran hostage crisis. Thank you. It's the Democrat Party. Always leads to good things. Here's Joe Scarborough after his big, fatuous lie.
It's all been a show. Well, that show has just been exposed by Trump's own prosecutor. the Trump-appointed prosecutor in Delaware. He's done a deal with him, a plea deal.
And that's it. It's the Trump prosecutor who was Obama's prosecutor before he was Trump's prosecutor, who was a career guy before he was picked by Obama. Obama only picked Democrat Party loyalists for U.S. attorney positions. And everybody in the media is a liar. Let me just say that. They lie to their wives. They lie on their taxes. They lie and they lie.
There's a Jonathan Lemire that's pissing me off, too.
Michael Piercy found also on Morning Joke another fake journalist who's really a liar, who's, if he's got a wife or a husband, his wife or husband can't trust him. The IRS shouldn't trust him. The company shouldn't trust him on expense reports. His name is Jonathan Lemire.
Certainly Republicans have for literally years now accused Hunter Biden of basically everything under the sun, including that he's the mastermind behind the Biden crime family and corruption and all that. Charges we don't need to get into now because they were never brought. This is what came to be. About the gun and about some minor tax charges. And now we are seeing Hunter Biden take responsibility and plead guilty. Now, that's not going to stop Republicans, I venture to guess. I suspect we will have lots of howling from the GOP along the same lines, that Hunter Biden got easy. Why isn't he got off easy? Why isn't he going to prison? There's a double standard of justice. You know, Biden's Justice Department taking care of his own. They'll ignore the facts as they have ignored the facts throughout this process. Certainly, this is a day of closure for the president's family.
Closure. Now, that's the opposite of the truth. That is not only not the truth, that's the opposite of the truth. If I had $1.2 million in issues with the IRS, I'd be in big trouble. If I were the crackhead that lied on my federal gun application form, which ended up in a garbage can behind a high-end grocery store where the Bidens were shopping at the time, because it was put there by his brother's widow with whom he was having sex, while he was also having sex with his brother's widow's sister. Not at the exact same time, but, in the same time frame. And they found my gun. And then the Secret Service came and cleaned that one up. You remember that, when the gun was found in the garbage can behind what the Washington Post described as a high-end grocery store, because why would they shop at a low-end grocery store? And they found the handgun back there because his brother's widow, with whom he was having sex, threw it there. And then the Secret Service came along and cleaned that one up for him. And that's no problem either. Then there's the hookers and the crack and who's buying all those $500,000 paintings? Because the buyers are anonymous, and that's no problem. And then there are the millions from China, and we haven't gotten to the 5 million from Ukraine yet. 5 million went to Hunter Biden and 5 million went to Joe Biden because the documents and the bank records, thanks to the House Oversight Committee, have demonstrated that. And then, of course, there's the Burisma money, which was, I think, $83,000 a month, nearly $1 million a year for a no-show job that Burisma paid Hunter Biden after Joe Biden went into Ukraine and ordered them to fire the prosecutor in Ukraine that was investigating corruption at Burisma. No problem there. And Jonathan Lemire says Republicans have been ignoring the facts. No, Republicans have been saying the facts out loud. You, Lion Sacagawea, you are the one who's been ignoring the facts. And Morning Joke, of course, who's sitting there with his semi-inflatable flotation device of a third wife.
Donald Trump can now attack a prosecutor, a U.S. attorney that he appointed himself.
Everything's a lie. There are 10,000 ways to lie in the naked city. We're getting a whole bunch of them today. Lion Sacagawea, Mo Yarborough, a.k.a. Joke Scarborough. Lion Sacagawea, Jonathan Lemire. Lion Sacagawea in Delaware, prepositioned CNN reporter, prepositioned Cara Scannell. Oh, it's a Trump appointee. It's a Trump appointee. Jerry Dunleavy, last year in the Washington Examiner, laid it out. First, he was an Obama appointee. And again, Trump didn't come to town with 1,000 lawyers wanting to become U.S. attorneys. When the two Democrat senators recommended to Trump that he pick this guy that Obama had picked, Trump shrugged and said, okay, because it's not really his game. He's from outside Washington. And then the media, the half-truths, the lies, the omissions. You know that you can purify the air in your home and get healthy, clean, fresh-smelling air, eliminate odors, kill mold, spores, mildew, bacteria, and viruses? The Eden Pure Thunderstorm Air Purifier uses oxy technology that naturally sends out O3 molecules into the air. Those molecules seek out and destroy odors and air pollutants in your home. It's an amazing, amazing device. You can hold one in your hand. It's only this big. It doesn't mask or cover up bad odors and pollutants. It eliminates them. It's called the Thunderstorm because it purifies the air in your home and provides you with pure, fresh air just like after a thunderstorm. Right now, you can save $200 American on an Eden Pure Thunderstorm 3-pack for whole home protection. You're going to get 3 units for under $200. Listen, some air purifiers cost more than $600 each. But you get 3 here for under $200. You can put one in your basement, your bedroom, your teenager's room, any place you'd like to have clean, fresh air. I've got them at home. With this special offer, you're getting 3 units for under $200. All you have to do is go to EdenPureDeals.com. Put in the discount code Chris, that's me, and you're going to save $200. That's EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code is Chris, and shipping is free. Yes, sir. Isn't it great to get the truth? I love the truth. I'm such a fan of the truth. And I don't like liars. That's why I identify them and call them out while telling you the truth.
All right. God save the Queen, man.
All right, now the media is spinning this all over the place, as you might expect, because they're incredibly corrupt. I have an update I'll share with you. Congressman James Comer, House Oversight Committee, has commented, and I will share that with you. I'm also going to get to the missing submarine at the Titanic, but right now let's go to the phones. Let's go to Matt calling from Charleston, South Carolina. Matthew, you're on the Chris Plante Show.
Good morning, Chris. Hey, listen, you're the one that came up with the double standards for Democrats.
Yes,
they
sir.
They didn't have double standards. They had none.
That's right.
How about this poor woman that her 6-year-old son, which I do not condone at all, took the gun to school and shot his teacher.
Right.
And everybody knew that the child had a gun, but nobody stopped it. She's going to jail for 2 to 3 years because she lied on her federal form because she was addicted to pot. Well, in Virginia now, pot is legal. And now Hunter Biden's going to get a slap on his wrist. Do not tell me, even my brother, who's very liberal, do not tell me that there's not a double standard.
That is exactly fact. Were it not for double standards, liberals would have no standards at all. And you're right about the mom.